All right, y'all know it's Monday. It's Monday.
My glasses. Is it blurry?
Yeah, it do look a little. It look a little blurred. A little blurry. Let me see. Like how you put your phone to your face. This ain't it. Like you don't put your phone.
Sorry, I'm listening.
Y'all, it's Monday. It almost feels like it's a scramble, but we get here. So the progress is it.
Girl, if I would have failed coming up in here,
I would have recorded. Hello. Go ahead and make sure y'all love and like and heart and all that good stuff.
Everything looks so much clearer now. Might have just been me.
As I sip on my orange
That's
juice.
crazy.
All righty.
Thought I just needed to close up. Clearly, I need to get my eyes checked again.
Okay, cool. All right, let me get it together. All righty. So thank you guys for everybody that's coming on. Make sure y'all like, love, subscribe, all the good stuff. This is Brown Rose Book Club. We go live every Monday, or we try to go live every Monday. We're pretty good about it, so we here on Mondays at 8 p.m. This week we are reading the, I want to say Total Money Makeover because that's what Dave Ramsey is known for, but we're reading the Baby Steps Millionaire. It's a short read, but it's basically talking about habits, small habits, reaching and creating small obtainable goals so that you can reach financial freedom and become a millionaire, right? So he says a lot of stuff, and I be wanting to just get to the meat potatoes sometimes and elaborate a little bit about the meat potatoes and make like a little mashed potato and like a little garnish. But I'm gonna try to like stick to what I want to talk about. So it's like 3 things for me. I want to talk about the beginning. In the beginning of the book, I want to play. Let me go to Audible because I want to play this part because I feel like like the stories that he talks about, like the stories. Because it's like you can relate to that. Yeah, I feel like everybody can relate to that.
So, can anyone become a millionaire?
And so he talks about these stories. So
down the kitchen window as Tiffany stood at the stove,
put it in the middle.
Water to make what had become her regular twice-a-day meal, ramen noodles. It was all she could afford. As a 27-year-old, Tiffany was recently divorced and figuring out how to be a single mom. She felt overwhelmed and afraid and completely confused about what to do next. She was working more than 60 hours a week, but still struggling to support herself and her 2 babies on a $30,000 a year salary. Plus, she had a staggering amount of debt payments going out every month. She was hanging on by a thread until she decided enough was enough. Tiffany had always believed that God had a purpose and a plan for her. But because her life was so chaotic, she couldn't figure out what that plan was or how to get it together. So she started researching ways to get out of debt and build wealth, and found the Ramsey Baby Steps. At first, Tiffany tried to do the plan Baby Steps-ish, doing some of it the way it is taught by us at Ramsey Solutions and some of it the way she preferred. But she soon realized that to make progress as fast as she could,
I can't see what that screen say, but thank you for the love. Make sure you hit that heart.
To sell to speed up the process. But she worked extra hours, made tons of sacrifices, and finally saved up enough for her emergency fund. Slowly but surely, she clawed her way out of $60,000 of debt. And with no debt payments, her income was hers to invest. As a young single mom, Tiffany felt freer and stronger than ever. Over the next 20 years, lots of life happened. Tiffany unexpectedly lost her dad in a tragic accident, and she battled and beat breast cancer. But she was determined not to let hardship knock her off her plan. She kept scratching and clawing. She got promotion after promotion at work. Finally, she grew her net worth to $1.85 million.
No problem,
her diligence resulted in $1.3 million in investments in cash, $450,000 in real estate, $100,000 in other assets. Today, Tiffany is a millionaire, a Baby Steps millionaire.
So I'm going to stop at that part because, he does go throughout the book and gives examples of people who actually have gone and completed through the steps. Thank you for the love. I love love. And he talks about, how they came, like he talks at the end, he like sums up like what they made and all that. But I just wanted to touch on the story because so many of us are like in that situation where we're living things for the gifts. So many of us are in the situation where we feel like we're drowning and we can't get out. And there are ways to get out. It all starts with, like the 12-step program. It all starts, the first step is admitting that there's a problem. And when you admit that there's a problem, then you can go forth and find a solution, you guys. And so with going for a finding solution, you can obtain the wealth and the freedom that you are so desperately, because she talks about this greater purpose. We all feel there's a greater purpose for us, but how many of us reach that purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And so he talks about, her just coming into herself, like it just clicked. So I wanted to bring that up because, like, how many of you are in this space that you want to get out of? Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to get out of the space, figure out how to get out of the space. And I think that this book and so many other books that we've read in book club, of course, make sure you go back and watch past episodes or past book clubs, and you can try to, like, we're in this space. We're not going to be in this space. So as y'all see the evolution and y'all see the glow up, y'all on this ride with us. We don't listen. I be sitting here like, dang, is this a 2-seater, 5-seater? What's going on? Is this a single-seater? But we doing it, right?
We on the way.
So I just wanted to bring that up because, again, I know it's a lot of us that are in that situation, and here's a story and here's the motivation that someone that was in the same or a similar predicament as yourself was able to overcome it and obtain wealth.
Did you play the one with the wife? Husband and wife?
No, I didn't. But they did that one. Yeah, that was a good one too. I just kind of
only because they were in like $3,000 worth.
300,000.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
300,000 worth of debt. And they ended up being able to pay it off.
Mm-hmm. They was going to get divorced.
Yeah, they was about to get divorced.
He said, she opened up like credit cards in his name and ran his credit down, and that's all. I'm like, dang, me personally, I feel like going into a situation, each person should talk about finances just to gauge, because you can't end up in a situation where your credit is ruined or, because of who you decide to be with. So I think that having financial conversations are important in a relationship. I would play it, but I kind of want to I want to see if we can get to an hour. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine.
But was it the next one, or was it? What chapter was it? That
it was that next.
Oh, okay.
Same chapter.
You know what? We can play it, but I got it. Let's see.
Tiffany's now finances, and John had no idea how much Maddie, a Financial Peace University coordinator, her passion is teaching the baby step to $1.85 million.
Okay, yeah.
Her diligence resulted in $1.3 million in investments in cash, $450,000 in real estate. $100,000. They brought together a blended family of 5 kids and soon had a child of their own. But one thing they didn't bring together was their finances. And John had no idea how much Maddie struggled with money. Maddie's prior marriage had been abusive and controlling. When she was angry, stressed, or in an argument with John, she would self-medicate by going on a spending spree, huge spending sprees, mostly on credit cards. As a result, she racked up thousands of dollars of debt.
Every time you piss me off, that's $1,000 in your name.
$20,000 of credit card debt. When John confronted Maddie, she admitted that she had secretly opened several credit cards in his name.
Several credit cards.
John felt heartbroken and betrayed, and after a few years and a lot of tears and hard conversations, John filed for divorce. Thankfully, their story doesn't end there. After their first mandatory appointment at an attorney's office, John and Maddie left the building at the same time out of opposite doors, but they ended up running into each other on the stairs. When they saw each other, it was a turning point. John and Maddie knew they loved each other and realized divorce was the last thing they wanted. Not long after, a friend invited Maddie to a total money makeover live event where I shared the Ramsey Baby Steps. She didn't know who I was and didn't really want to go, but she came anyway. Sitting in her seat that day, she came to a hard but powerful realization: money wasn't the problem. The problem for Maddie was the person in the mirror. Something clicked for her, and she left the event knowing she had to change. And for the first time in a long time, Maddie had hope that she and John could come together on their finances and make their marriage work. John and Maddie read The Total Money Makeover and attended a Financial Peace University class at their church. That's when they discovered they were buried in over $300,000 of debt. It was overwhelming, but they now had a plan to attack it. And with a vision through it all, John and Maddie's marriage was transformed. He saw Maddie change her mindset and come alive. She was energized and committed to getting rid of all their debt as fast as possible. They put their heads down, sold everything that wasn't nailed down, and adjusted their lifestyle drastically. In just over 5 years, they paid it all off, including their house. In fact, they were so heads down on paying off their mortgage that they didn't realize how much their investments had grown in the meantime. When they finally looked up, they weren't just debt-free. They discovered that they were straight-up millionaires. John and Maddie had grown their net worth to just over $2 million. Here's how it broke down. $1.5 million in investment accounts, $475,000 in a paid-for
TikTok
home,
be on that. What do you
$50,000
say?
in
Are
liquid
we
assets.
still on?
But even more importantly, John and Maddie worked together and now have a restored and thriving marriage. They even came to Ramsey Solutions headquarters to do their debt-free screening. I loved meeting.
So yeah.
Still got 4 followers. I mean, 4 people watching.
Okay. All right.
They say.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So hearing stories were like closely related to something that you could possibly go through, and seeing people overcome it to me is motivational. Simply because a lot of times, I ain't married, so I can't speak to married life, but I hear a lot of times friends that got divorced based on financial situations because they didn't talk and they didn't discuss, and how important making financial decisions together matter, and also trust, right? Because again, she did go and open cards up in somebody in his name. And that's a breach of trust. Several and racked up $20,000 worth of that. That trust thing. That's very important. But going into the steps of the baby steps of being a millionaire. Step 1 is start an emergency fund. Step 2 is focus on debts. Step 3 is complete your emergency fund. Step 4, save for retirement. Step 5, save for college funds. Step 6, pay off your house. And step 7, build wealth. So essentially it talks about, he talks about Murphy's Law. If something goes wrong, something is bound to go wrong, right? So when you're preparing or trying to do things happen. Cars, tires, engines, house, things that you own, they essentially, have to be upkept. And you need to have an emergency fund, because at least you're able to pay it versus wind up deeper in the hole, having to take out a loan or put it on your credit card or something like that, and now you're in debt. The thing is becoming debt free. Now I'm gonna stay on topic.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who have heard about making sure they have an emergency fund and stuff like that, and a lot of times, I don't know what that was. A lot of times people may not, be like, oh, it's fine, whatever. But it is good to have that extra money. I know it has happened to me a couple of times where I was able to save the money, and then, something stupid happens, life be lifing, and then I have to get new tires. I have to do this. I have to do that. But I had the money. It wasn't able to cover the whole thing sometimes, but I was able to do it, cash without having to borrow money from somebody or get money from somewhere. So it definitely helps having that set to the side.
Yeah, it does. But we gonna go through the steps. I definitely want to see how this works. I've kind of gone through some things. Like I said, most of the books I probably have read, but I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to see. Sorry, you guys. I got notifications, and it just was like blowing up my phone. I'm like, what is going on? That other page of promotion approved. So now I got like 2 and 3.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Just making sure I know that been able to at least get through the first two before 3 to 6 months. The third one, he was saying, saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses, and you only use that for an emergency. So if something happens, so that's not for you to like, oh, I want to go shopping today. Oh, I saved this much money. It's fine for me to touch it. Like, no, it's for like, you need something fixed around the house. You need something fixed on your car, things like that.
Like you just can't go shopping or
stuff like that.
Like
emergency doctors.
Buy some Sephora, go to Ulta.
No. Do not use it for that. You're supposed to be saving it.
Mm-hmm. And then we go focusing on debt, eliminating debt, and he talks about a lot of sacrifice. And I think that was one of the things that like kind of hit to me is that I think it was like anything winning. What did he say? And I have posted it today too. Winning. Let me go to Brown. Let's go to our page because I know I definitely posted it. Winning at anything requires sacrifice. But essentially, basically, you're going to have to sacrifice going out, doing things to be able to say, hey, I need to tackle this because if I tackle this, then I can do whatever I want, right? That's the freedom aspect, being able to do whatever you want because everything that's coming in belongs to you and not the debt that you've acquired. Thank you. Complete your emergency fund. He talks about how if you are investing, let's say you invest for 15 years, it's supposed to double every 7, right? So if you decide for 15 years straight that I'm just going to invest, and after 15 years, I'm not going to invest anymore, every 7 years it's going to double. And he goes through those numbers, depending on the amount, like 10% based off of your.
I ain't gonna lie, he started talking about all the money and all that, like the percent. Like I zoned out. Like I probably need to listen to it like 30 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit. I just really just need somebody to take care of stuff
and
like
in church on Sunday,
I just can't.
Church on Sunday, he said, if you don't understand, keep reading.
Oh, I know. That's why I said what I said.
And
that's exactly why I said what I said.
If the answer ain't coming, ask for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he talks about saving for retirement, like, so you can live that life. Personally, I know I have family members that are living off on Social Security, and I'm seeing that struggle. And then when they are going back and forth on if they're going to decide if they're going to keep it or what, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, that's not my struggle, and I don't want that to be my struggle.
Right.
Save for college funds for kids, stuff like that. Making sure you put money aside. And he talks about how he had like a college plan where you enter into school, give as many scholarships as possible. And also, making them work through teaching them responsibility, making sure that when they get out of college, they're not like the rest, like most people who have college debt, or they have student loans and they're on their, credit report and all that other stuff in it. And just all that, just like eliminate that by just paying it off and making sure that they walk out of a situation, walk out of school with the education, but not the debt. Pay off your house. He has a way to pay off your house. He has a course, of course they offer courses and stuff, but he has a course to show you how to pay off your house within 10 years. So after 10 years, the house is just it's just assets. We talked about in another book, asset versus liabilities, and turning that home into an asset. Because now you can borrow against it, you have equity, all of the things, and then building wealth. And he talks about different types of investments that you can make and take. And he basically says, and the only way to, like, the way that he said it, I would like go to it, but was essentially the only way to do it is to just do it, right? People can talk about the risks of everything and talk about the percentage of loss and all that other stuff, but the true loss is 0%. Mm-hmm. If there's a 38% chance, there's a chance, and he wants to find that 1 in 10 chance that it hits, right? And the only chance you only miss 0. What is it? You only miss 0% of the shots that you don't take. Yeah.
I was about to say, you gonna ask me or you gonna say it?
Because I was thinking about the basketball part. But anyways, So I wanted to talk about 3 different things that he spoke about, because after he breaks down the different steps and he goes through examples and he talks about people's scenarios that they've overcame, and they talk, and he breaks down the money.
But he does have another book
Yeah.
that goes into it. This is not like in detail. So you have to
and it's a quick, it's like a 4-hour read. But he talks about scarcity versus abundance, fear of poverty, and house of cards, which is the get rich quick scheme. And so I want to talk about those 3 things. Scarcity versus abundance, right? And he talks about it in the relation of being. If you've experienced scarcity, you will, when you're in an abundant state, there's a fear of not wanting to go back to scarcity, right? And a lot of people don't talk about that, because when we look at how we save and the things that we do it out of necessity or fear of losing, right? And so I had like when he talks about the Murphy's Law, what will go wrong will go wrong, or something.
What can go
wrong will go wrong, right? And I'm like, well, when we're not living in the abundance of things and not understanding, why things don't work out, we create that energy field. You get what I'm saying? And saying that things do happen, but understanding the grand scheme of why things happen. Because we read a lot of the spiritual books and we talk about the universe and stuff like that. So when I think about it in that sense, and that's the thing about reading, right? Reading one book, there might not be, you might not agree 100% with it, but as long as you expound your thought process, you can come up with your own. I really feel like you can come up with your own meaning of life, right? And so when I look at what will go wrong, what can go wrong will go wrong. I feel like that's because when you're in survival mode, that's the energy you're drawing. But when you're in abundance, you don't believe that what goes wrong is meant, like what can go wrong will go wrong. It's okay. This is maybe blocking me from something to give me something better, right? And I say that because we didn't experience it, and we've seen it happen firsthand. We know what it is, but still, I feel like that's the difference in that. And I wanted to bring that up because I do think that mindset of scarcity and abundance, when you lack, when you're brought up in lack, you feel like, and I think that'd be the problem with hoarders.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to let go of things. You hold on to a lot of stuff that you really don't need, and I mean, because you've experienced that so much loss that what you do have, you kind of cherish it a bit more. But I think once you do
over cherish,
once you do have, I guess, like you said, abundance in things, I don't think that you really think of it as like a problem. It's more just like you said in the book, it's just like an inconvenience, maybe like, oh damn, that happened, like, okay. But it's not like, it's like a brief thought, and you're not stressed about it, worried about it, or even really thinking about it, for a long time, because it's really not a big deal. You just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, take care of it, and you kind of just move on, versus like when you're not, it's like, oh shit, like now I gotta start over, like especially like if you're in the beginning stages of the the 7 steps, if you decide to do it and then like something happens and then you have to spend that whole $1,000, it's just kind of like,
it's a bummer.
Like, goddamn, like you really have to start like all the way over again. So yeah, that's what I think about, that part of it. It's just really, and I would love to be in that place where it's just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, just take care of it. Like, send me the receipt. Like, that would be great. Like right now, I'd be like, how much you said it was? Say that again. Y'all ain't got no coupons. Woo. Ain't no discounts.
Oh Lord, sorry, I got caught up in Facebook, and Instagram, and then going into fear of poverty. Like that's the scarcity mindset, right? So I do when shifting into that, because he also talks about millionaire versus billionaire, right? When you look at the lifestyle of a billionaire, people assume that that's the lifestyle of a millionaire, but it's not. And he goes into using Jeff Bezos as an example in the way that he lives, the things that he owns, and how much something costs to him versus what it costs us, right? So because he's an uber billionaire, like a centi billionaire, which is like 100, he if he bought $125 million home, that's like spending $65 or something he said, and to him, because of how much money he has. But a millionaire, I feel like, is a comfortable life, but it's a step to, right? If you're in debt and you're wanting, let's say you have a number in your head, right? Y'all know my number by now, right? That steps to obtaining that, because now you have the financial freedom where all the money that you're getting and you're investing and you're doing the things that you're doing, you need to do, and investing in yourself, investing in your business, and you have the ways to accumulate a massed amount of money. That's how you get there, just by eliminating some debt. Now, we've read other books where debt is a good thing. Like, and when we look at a bunch of people, like even I think it was it Jeff Bezos? It was somebody, Elon Musk, and how he was about to buy something and how he did it through stocks. And he basically doesn't have, but it just, I can go off topic, but for this book, it's talking about how to eliminate debt and live stress free. And I think fear of poverty is, you can allow it to cripple you to a point where you stay in poverty. And we have to understand that fear is, I definitely believe in addressing fear. Like, what am I afraid of? Because if you can overcome fear and actually face that demon, then you can banish that demon, right? And no longer live in lack and live in poverty. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was like the house of cards, the get rich quick scheme, right? I know that I've talked previously in the past about how I originally accumulated success and wealth and how quickly that diminished, and the fact that it led me to a journey of educating myself, because there's one thing in getting it, but there's another thing maintaining it, and then there's another thing in flipping it. Thank you. And so essentially, the House of Cards reference is talking about how something is so fragilely built. Like, they use the example of this woman who had basically went to like a home seminar, and they talked about how you can buy homes with no money down and all this other stuff. And it essentially led her to building a huge amount of wealth, not really knowing that a lot of things was really risky. And when what's that saying? When the cows were called home, or the roosters, what was it? The roosters,
I don't know.
cluck. Shit, some country saying, right? We in South Carolina. But when the roosters were called home, essentially she lost everything. And just as fast as she obtained it, just as fast as it left. And I know, like, if you follow a lot of motivational speakers that speak to financial freedom and wealth, they talk about that a lot, being that we think that we should accumulate wealth fast, and when we do, that's how it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen overnight. But anything that happens overnight, there's another night where it don't, and the things can happen just as quickly. And anything worth having is worth working for, and anything worth keeping is worth nurturing and learning and expansion. So there's the right ways to get rich, and they tend to take longer than the quick ways. We can easily go out here and flip a dime into a quarter, into you go out and do those things, but what's the risk of it? The risk, does the risk is the risk outweighing the reward, or is the reward outweighing the risk, right? And anything that's truly worth having, the reward outweighs the risk, and the risk is tend to be lower than 20 to 10%, right? And this book essentially talks about how to obtain it that way. And again, he does emphasize this is just to make you a millionaire. This ain't to make you a billionaire, right? This is just to get you in a place
There's a big difference.
It is a big difference, yes, and a billionaire. And it's just to get you in a place where you have freedom, where you can decide. A lot of the times the results happen between 10 to 15 years. So this is a slow and steady wins the race type of marathon, not a sprint. Now, if you're fortunate to come into some money that can knock it down faster and quicker, because he does talk about someone that obtained something in 5 years, I would rather obtain something in 5 years than 15. Of course, we all would.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, sometimes that's not the case. You have to work it to let it work. And that's a mindset shift as well. Do you have 15 years to give to eliminating your debt,
Right.
to live another 15, 30 years debt free? And so I really want to emphasize this book to people who are struggling in debt now, like in your 30s, if you're in your 20s, hell, if you're 18, I think that this is a book that you should read. You should start getting on that financial literacy and education.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I wasn't taught that, and this is something I had to learn and grow through and experience to want to say, no more. Let me figure out, how to get out of this. But I do think that, a lot of these books that we do read, again, make sure to check out our past book clubs, that you begin to discover the truth of things yourself. Because no one's going to get out and like grab you unless you're walking and they want to have a seminar. But that has a price tag. It's an infomercial thing. It's an infomercial. They're trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
So again, going and getting the information and educating yourself, if you can do that, and you can do that, so that you can obtain the freedom that you're wanting and the financial, basically financial freedom that you want, essentially. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about when it came to the book. And I was trying to see if we could keep this to an hour.
Well, it's only been 30 minutes, but that's really just the gist of it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
He just talked about, he pretty much like skimmed through the 7 steps that he has. But I'm sure it would be a lot more valuable reading the actual book that has like the steps in detail. But there was a lot of things that in that book that, because like that book to me, it seems like he said, it's more for like people who have already read the 7 steps and kind of just need a refresher. So it's really like a refresher book. So it's kind of backwards. At least we read it backwards. But I think you read the other book, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we did read Total Money Maker. I feel in book club.
I don't remember reading that. But I don't know. I
You've
don't
read
remember
so many
reading the
books.
Dave Ramsey book. But I have been already, a friend of mine has already been telling me about this book. Well, not about this book. Let me not say that. Just about Dave Ramsey, period. They listen to his podcasts and stuff like that. So this, not that I didn't believe him, but I mean, this was a pretty decent book. So I might actually, listen to a podcast and see what he got going on in his podcast, and definitely want to read the other book with the 7 steps. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So y'all make sure you go to the Brown Girls website, check us out on all social media platforms, and yeah, that's it. You got anything else to say?
I don't. I do want to say that we are helping or partnering with 2 events. So make sure you check out our page. And if you're interested in being a vendor or you're interested in being a sponsor, make sure you hit us up. We are looking for those things. One event is looking for 14 vendors, and the other is looking for $1,000 in sponsorship. We would love to be able to help them. These are both brown women in the community that are advocating for us as people, and our pillars are Black enterprise, Black business, education, and community. And so you guys, if that is something that you believe in as well, make sure to hit us up. You can check out our website. We have a donation link. You can also check out the links in our bio. We have the events up there ready for you to check out and see what it's about. And again, make sure you join us on Mondays. We do try to post to let you know that we're coming on. If we don't post, if we might come on, or we might just surprise you, because sometimes it's the element of surprise that keeps people going. But again, make sure you check us out. All of our videos are posted on Facebook, Instagram, the recaps. So make sure you check us out on Facebook and Instagram to see the recaps. I'm working to get all the videos uploaded to YouTube. So if you want to go through season 1 and season 2 of the book club, season 1, season 2 of the interviews, you can definitely do that. We are going to be bringing interviews back, you guys. So if you are a brown woman and you have a business that you want to promote yourself, you want to talk about your story, we want to hear your story. We want to share your story, and we want to help you get the visibility that you deserve as a business owner. But again, this was the Brown Girls Book Club. We were reading Baby Steps Millionaire by Dave Ramsey. Check it out on Audible. Again, if you are trying to get back into reading and you don't have the time to sit and actually read a book, thank you for the hearts, then Audible is where it's at. That's just kind of how you can get back into reading until you're able to finally sit down and read a book yourself. And we're working towards that too. I know I'm like one of those people that can't sit still, so I'm working on that. That book has to be something real serious, like, an erotic book, or, back in the day I was reading Tyree, what's his name? And Zane and all of them. Yeah. Those are books I could sit through. But again, when you're trying to work on self-development and self-development and what else? Self-improvement, sometimes those books tend to be a little boring. So you do need, and you might need some help, and Audible does help. They don't sponsor, but hopefully they'll see this video and they become a sponsor. Yes, heart to that. Yes. But pretty much that's it, you guys. This was a short book club. We don't want to keep you longer than you have to be kept. And we'll see you next week. Bye.